Hello and assalamu alaikum to all of you. Thank you so much for appreciating my work. It will obviously help me to keep alive my passion. Without wasting much of our time, I would just like to continue my today's lecture, which is about the social structure of the society. It is important to understand how a society exists in different parts of the world and in different times with different of the social positions and different responsibilities. So, social structure of the society. What society is actually, it is there to include all our social institutions, the major social organization to form and meet our human needs. Social institutions with which we are basically living our lives, like our family, like our religion, like our education, like our politics, like our mass media, like our economy. These are some of the social institutions, and these are the forms through which we are here in our society to meet up our needs. Society, what is society's definition? It can either be considered as a definition of the society as well. A society is consisted of people. Obviously, society is not an amalgamation or the collection of an individual. It is basically a collection of people. So what would be that collection of people who will interact? They will always be in an interactive mode. They will share a common culture, they will share a common interest, they may will share some very common features within a shared boundaries, within a shared boundary. Now, it is very important to understand that without a boundary, we cannot say a collection of people living within a society. It can either be a group, it can either be a kind of collectivity of the people, or it can either be even community as well, but it cannot be called as a society until it will not have a definite boundary. For example, if I would like to refer Pakistani society, it has a certain boundary, it has a certain territory within which we are living our lives. Around the corners, it has certain kind of states, certain kinds of societies who are surrounding it. So, without a boundary, a society cannot be completed. So, ultimately, a society's social structure is what? The way in which a society is organized around the regulated ways people interrelate and organize their social life. How we are living in the society, simply how we are living in the society and how we are doing our day-to-day tasks, day-to-day activities, and day-to-day endeavors throughout our lives. It will be actually referring towards the social structure of the society, the way we interact, the way we live, the way we behave, the way we are actually having our food patterns, our lifestyles. These are all the parts of the social structure of the society. So how can we understand a social structure? A social structure can hold and organize a society into different ways. So what kind of those ways? Some of the basics of this structure is based upon some social positions of the individual and groups and their responsibilities. If we have to understand the social structures of the society, dear ones, we have to understand the social positions of the incumbents living in the society. People living in the society, they have certain social positions. We need to understand those social positions, and there are certain responsibilities attached to those social positions. So if we have to understand the society, if we have to understand the social structure of the society, we need to understand the social positions of the people living in those societies. With that, we have to understand the responsibilities in those social positions. Now, these are some specific phenomena: the social positions and the social responsibilities. Sociologically, we do term these social positions and responsibilities in different ways. Status. If we have to understand the social structure of the society, we need to understand the in the earlier slide I had discussed that we need to understand the social positions and the social responsibilities. It is one of those phenomena. Status is one of those phenomena which actually indicates the social structure of the society. So it is central to our social interaction and social structure. Generally speaking, status is something different that we infer in sociology. So to sociologists, statuses are the established social positions of the individual may refer to the status. What kind of whatever the social position we do have in the society can be called as a status. So, dear audience, unlike the popular usage of the term having a status, in sociological term does not equate to the prestige, because generally we always refer status to the social prestige of an individual, whether it is low or high. Some of us may have a very high prestige, and it is generally associated with the high prestige phenomena in the society. But sociologically everyone has a status, although some do have a higher status than others as judged by the society. Well, sociologically speaking, every one of us, every single person in the society has a status. Though, if we are living in the society, we have to acknowledge this fact as well, that some of the statuses are higher than that of the other, as judged by the society. As society recommend, we do have those statuses. So, social setting of a society will decide about the priorities of the social positions. It is about the society's priorities, it is about the structure of the society, it is about the normative behavior of the society, which actually decide what kind of status may be over the time, what kind of the status may have we in different times. So, in order to understand the social positions, we need to understand the types of the statuses. Statuses can either be obtained in different ways. They can either be achieved, they can either be ascribed. So, what are the ascribed statuses? These are the positions involuntarily acquired through birth. We do not have much with these kind of statuses in terms of our efforts. These are attached at the time of our birth. For example, our gender, for example, our race, our ethnicity, our color, our religion. These are some of the statuses which are being acquired by a person at the time of birth. Well, we need to understand one of the phenomena that some of the students has asked me certain questions during the classes when I do deliver these kind of lectures, that now it is quite possible that we do convert our religion, we do convert our race or caste even over the time. So how it could be an ascribed status? So let me explain you that it is still an ascribed status until a person will not change it. When a person will change that status, the by birth status, it will then become an achieved status. So what is an achieved status then? It is basically the social position acquired through the personal effort. The personal effort a person which actually do is basically the achieved status. For example, being an engineer, being a doctor, parents, a law school students, or sportsman, or something else even, they are all the achieved statuses. A single effort that we had put in our life to become something is basically to acquire an achieved status. So altogether a person can have these two statuses at once. So collectively all these statuses a person holds at once comprise his or her a status set. So in a single time, if we do have both the statuses, the ascribed and achieved status, it will become a status set for that specific person or that specific group of people or that society. So each of the people, well, in order to understand in order to understand the status set, I would like to elaborate an example of a hospital or a clinic in which people in a clinic have multiple different statuses at the same time. A doctor, for example, may also have a son or a daughter, a husband or a wife, a father or a mother, member of a garden club, or a civic league president. But this status set change frequently over a person's time. Some statuses in the status are the more socially important and influential statuses. It is quite possible that in each society it may be different, Some in some societies may the ascribed statuses be much higher than those of the achieved statuses, and some societies maybe the achieved statuses are much higher than those statuses which are being acquired at the time of the birth. But there are certain statuses which are more influential than those of another. So a very influential status then become a master status of a person. So it is a status that become more socially important than all other statuses, and it can either be a status which refers to the positivities or negativities of any status which can either be positive or negative in terms of its importance can be a master status. Now, how it could be a negative status, let me tell you. I would in the next few lectures will tell you about the deviance and the crime as well, where we do understand that there are categories of the criminals as well, there are categories of the deviants as well who are supposed to be very competent in their activities of crimes. So in those people's categories, some of the people who are most competent in their activities of doing those things, they have their certain statuses which are higher among them. So master status, ultimately we can say that a positive or a negative status as well. I would conclude the role in the next lecture, so stay tuned with the channel. Thank you so much for listening me, and will give me a feedback, and will stay alive with my channel and subscribe it as much as possible for you. Thank you so much.